Hey, it's Katie and welcome back to my channel and also happy Halloween. So if you don't know, I was on a bit of a break. I took about a month or so off filming and making videos and now I'm back and I'm ready to get straight into it. I still don't fully know if I'll be doing videos every single week or just every fortnight or something, but we're just gonna see how we go. There's gonna be no pressure because 2020 has just been wild enough. I'm gonna take the pressure off myself and just do what makes me happy, you know? Wow. Love that for me. When I wasn't filming YouTube videos, I was kind of like deep diving into the podcast world, and I have been listening to a lot of true crime and paranormal podcasts. Those things freak me out and make me scared, but for some reason, I just keep listening and I really need to know what happens. And that inspired me a little bit because we are in spooky season. I thought I would do some research into haunted Broadway theaters. Broadway and the theaters have been around for such a long time that I figured surely there must be some ghost stories. And oh my gosh, there is. So I used the work printer and I printed out some notes. I'm gonna link all the websites that I got the information from in the description below. I'm pretty much just going to be reading some of the stories that I read on there. So I didn't come up with all this stuff. This is pretty much coming straight from the websites, but I thought I would just recount it here because I love it. So a lot of this actually came from the Playbill website, which we stan. And they have a whole article about the real life stories behind the haunted Broadway theaters. And the thing that got me the most is that they said apparently some theaters almost always have ghost stories and others almost never have any. But the experiences that they do have are also very consistent, which is crazy because I feel like that's the thing that comes up when it comes to like ghosts and paranormal, is that everybody recounts different things. But when people start recounting the same sort of thing happening, then you're like, oh. So we're gonna start off with the New Amsterdam Theatre, which is currently home to Aladdin. So the article starts off by saying that there might be different types of the haunting in this theatre. So it could be like the odd noise to maybe some knocking or a mysterious like flicking of light or opening of cabinet doors, which is freaky on its own. But then some people might even feel like a cold spot in the room, a coloured mist, a floating orb, or the echo of a disembodied voice, or an inanimate object moving. This is all freaky and now I wish I had my back to the wall instead of like to a window. There's also a video that they referenced in the article and you can see like a whole set of chairs sitting on the ground, as chairs do. And all of a sudden one in the middle row just moves backwards by itself. So do with that what you will. Also, apparently in the New Amsterdam Theatre, there has also been some sightings of an actual human figure, which occasionally speaks and on even rarer occasions, touches. I'm sorry, what? So many of the actors and crew who have worked at the New Amsterdam Theatre have experienced any of the things that I've already mentioned. And they all link it to this one well-known ghost called Olive Thomas. Here is a picture so you can just really get the whole experience with me. Because I don't want to butcher any of this, I'm going to read this straight from the paper. They all have the alleged culprit Olive Thomas. She was apparently a one-time chorus girl. She's by far the most active ghost on Broadway, manifesting so frequently that the Vice President of Operations for Disney Theatrical Group has placed photographs of her at every entrance to the theatre so workers can greet her when they arrive for work each day, because they believe that this keeps her mischief to a minimum. It's wild, it's wild, it's wild. If you want to read all about Olive's backstory, I would definitely recommend checking out that Playbill article, link in the description. I'm also going to read out a few of the sightings that people have had because they're very interesting. So there were several early reports described a young woman wearing a sash and carrying a bottle of pills who would sometimes speak. That's what I mean about the speaking ghost thing. That's really freaky to me. And strangely, people in various eras who didn't know one another would imitate her voice in the same way. That's what I think is so crazy to me, is that it's like people who weren't even telling each other the same stories were imitating her in the same way. Yikes. And in the early Disney era, a night watchman at the theatre resigned on the spot after reportedly witnessing a woman cross the stage and disappear through a solid wall. The fact that he just left, was like, all right, that's it, is very relatable. Because if I saw that, I don't think I'd be able to go anywhere near it again. Like, I respect it, but also, not in this house, please. And apparently she made another appearance in the middle of a crowded New Amsterdam orchestra section. Shortly after the opening of Aladdin in 2014, an audience member came up to one of the ushers during a performance and asked if she could have a booster seat for her child. We don't like to interrupt a show, so we waited until the intermission and came to her with a booster. But we found she already had one. And when we asked where she had gotten it, she said a lady at the back of the theatre had gestured to where they were. It says, now we don't have a woman at the back of the house who does that in the middle of a show. We checked and none of the staff had done it. So you can take that how you like, but it was kind of freaky. I have all the hairs standing up on my body right now because that... At least she was being helpful, I guess. She helped this guest, so go Olive. Okay, now we're gonna look at the Richard Rogers Theatre, which is currently home to a classic Hamilton. And again, I'm just gonna be reading this straight from the article. During the run of In the Heights, people claim to have seen the ghost of a small child just off stage during a show. They also mention that there are reappearing red lipstick smudges in the ladies' room. They get painted and wiped but inevitably return. Dressing rooms have strange sounds and things spontaneously fall off shelves. After Hours brings bizarre howling sounds, chandeliers moving, and the sound of people walking. Ooh. No thanks. And now going to the Gershwin Theatre, which is home to Wicked, one of my faves. So generally they say that the ghostly experiences happen in the theatres that were built before 1930. So the older ones. But the Gershwin was built in 1971 and it's still got some haunted experiences. Oh, ew, I just reread them again before reading them out loud. Now I'm stressed, okay. According to sources in the know about these things, we have 3 ghosts. Drew, aka Dennis, is the only one we know by name. The other 2 ghosts who are regularly seen haven't been named, but one dresses in a 19th century blue suit and the other wears a white t-shirt. In 2012, Jonathan Warren reported Nathan Peck got tapped on the shoulder before his front of house monkey flight one evening. When he turned around, no one was standing near him. And later when he told people about it, Kevin Huck mentioned that he had the same experience throughout the years in the same location. It is rumoured and believed to be the ghost at the Gershwin. And in 2010, stage manager Jason Daunter and ensemble member Eddie Pendergraft were standing on the stage left and happened to look up thinking they saw a swing performer watching the show. Then, suddenly that person disappeared behind the curtain. And the person they thought they saw was actually only a few feet away from them on the stage. So they were performing, they looked up and they thought they saw the swing cast member in the audience, and then that person disappeared behind a curtain, and then they realized they were actually standing next to that same person. It's freaking me out and I love it. But I also hate it. And now we're gonna finish up with apparently the most haunted theatre, which is the Palace Theatre. And they say it's the most haunted because they think it's got the most ghosts. And allegedly there's a variety of ghosts, both friendly and frightening. So it's a mixed bag. Ooh. Reputed to have more ghosts than any other Broadway house. Among them is a mysterious figure who passes open doorways late at night, a child ghost who plays peekaboo in the mezzanine, ooh, a musician dressed in white who appears in the orchestra pit, and a tightrope walker whose appearance is said to foretell the viewer's death. What? However many there may be, they seem to have been quiet in recent years as reports of their activities have dropped off sharply. Thank goodness. However, during the run of the 2011 Annie revival, they claimed that actor Ryan Van Den Boom, is that how you say it? Claimed that when alone in a dressing room one night, he thought he heard a voice call Judy. Now the Queen of the Palace's celebrity revenants is said to be the great Judy Garland herself, but who may have been calling her and why must remain a Broadway mystery. Could you just see me really nervously twisting my hair because I'm getting scared. They also say the ghost of acrobat Louis Bossolina, I hope that's how you say it, is said to haunt the theatre. According to various versions of the story, Bossolina fell to his death in the 1950s, and that stagehands say that when the theatre is empty, the ghost of Bossolina can be seen swinging from the rafters. He lets out a blood-curdling scream and then reenacts his nosedive. Anytime I hear the phrase blood-curdling, it's not something that I want to think about. So I'm gonna stop there. So there are some little spooky, haunted Broadway theatre stories. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And on a lighter note, let me know what you're dressing up for Halloween, because that's more fun. Anyway, I hope you're having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're staying safe, and I'll see you soon with a new video. Bye!